Scarlett Johansson makes her directorial debut with Eleanor the Great, but does she shine behind the camera or should she stick to acting in front of it? Hello, everyone. I'm Nick Iricchio, and welcome back to another Movie Nights movie review. Today, we're going to be talking about Eleanor the Great, starring June Squibb, Erin Kellyman, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and Rita Zohar. The film follows Eleanor, who, after a devastating loss at 94, moves to New York to be with her family, where she ends up telling a dangerous tale that takes on a life of its own. I want to start off at the top saying that I really liked this movie. I thought it was really sweet, really heartfelt, and that is completely due in part to June Squibb's performance and her chemistry with Erin Kellyman. And I will use that as a pivot to go into my positives for the movie, the biggest being the two of them and their chemistry. June Squibb is just always electric when she's on screen. She's always just such a warm presence. She was in a movie last year, an action comedy. Yes, an action comedy called Thelma, which I thought she was terrific in. And so that's what really got me very excited about this movie. And I've been following Erin Kellyman for a while now in her career. You may most likely recognize her from being the lead flag smasher in the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV series. And I was kind of always interested to see where her career would go next, and to see her pop up in something like this and this sort of heartfelt drama was really exciting to see. And I thought that she hit a lot of the dramatic beats very well with it. But when the movie's firing on all cylinders, it's really when you have the two of them on screen together. You know, with a big age gap, it brought up a lot of interesting conversations within the dialogue and kind of where they're at in their lives, in their journeys, and how they managed to intertwine those stories together. I found really interesting. This is a movie about grief and how it affects all of us and how it affects all of us differently. And you see that through all the different characters. You know, Chiwetel Ejiofor and Erin Kellyman play father-daughter, and they are dealing with the loss of her mom, his wife. And the way that they kind of tell the grief storyline through this father-daughter dynamic and how they're each kind of longing for each other's attention but don't really know how to get it from the other person was really interesting, and I thought that they played into that dynamic very well. But again, to me, June Squibb is really the heart of this movie, and you know, she makes a decision very early on in the movie. That's the dangerous lie that I mentioned earlier, and that is sort of sets up the narrative of the movie to come. And it sort of then becomes a movie where you're kind of waiting for this other shoe to drop, you're waiting for the truth to come out. And when that truth finally is revealed, I found it to be very satisfying. I thought it was very realistic. I thought it was handled very well. And from the trailers, you can kind of piece together that there is a Holocaust element to the story. And that is sort of centered on Rita Zohar, the roommate, and her monologues detailing the events that she went through as a Holocaust survivor within the context of the movie was heartbreaking. It's when the movie lets the emotion bleed through the screen and let the performances speak for themselves and let the history and the weight of the moment sit. I thought was really profound and really impactful. And I think that that's when Scarlett Johansson was shining as a director. There are some pacing issues, you know, some editing choices that I think come with kind of being a first time director that I'm excited to see kind of ironed out in the second. But when she really lets the scene and the moments hold their weight, I thought that the movie was really impactful in those moments. And I want to take this time to shout out Rita Zohar, who probably had a lot of the most difficult monologues to get through and had to give the most emotional performance in the movie. And I thought that she absolutely knocked it out of the park. She was giving these just devastating monologues, and your just eyes were glued to the screen with the performance. Going on to negatives for the movie, I don't really have a whole lot that really put it into the bad category. Again, I thought this was a perfectly fine movie that I very much enjoyed. I think it wears its heart on the sleeve a little bit too much at times, where a lot of the emotional beats then kind of go on a little bit too long and become a little more overly sentimental, become a bit sappy, become a bit cheesy. And there's the really impactful ones that work, and then there's some, you know, your more cliche moments, you know, play out about how you would expect them to play out. As far as Scarlett Johansson as a director as well, there was some first time director bugs, let's call them, that, you know, I think everyone kind of falls into. Some scenes run on a little bit too long. You know, there's some poor editing choices, but she got excellent performances out of the actors, which again is probably my highest compliment for this movie, is that the performances were all great across the board. But I think that looking forward to her next movie, I would like to see just kind of some more editing choices there, a little bit more restraint, a little bit more time to know when to cut it off, when to let it breathe in those moments, because there are little glimpses of great filmmaking, great directing in this moment, just not consistently throughout the movie. But overall, I don't know if I would necessarily say I'm excited for what she's going to direct next, but it was definitely an interesting choice. And to take on such a dramatic, heavy topic as a first time director, I thought was a very interesting choice, and I thought she handled it very well. Overall, I would give the movie 3 out of 5 stars. Again, there was nothing outrageously bad about the movie. There was nothing outrageously spectacular about the film either. It's just right there in the middle. And I'm very excited and interested to follow Scarlett Johansson's career as a director. I know behind the camera she has been a massive producer lately, so to see her make that transition as well has been very interesting. And I will keep watching everything that June Squibb does. Every movie. I believe she's even the mom in Hubie Halloween, so she might be back for Hubie Halloween too, which guarantees my view. But have you had the chance to see Eleanor the Great? If so, I'd love to know what you thought. Please let me know in the comments below. And if you like this and want to see more, we do movie reviews on the channel. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and we go live every Friday to cover all the movie news from this week. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.